Hi and welcome back to TechRadar. I'm Tom Bedford here with our video review of the OnePlus 10 Pro, the company's flagship phone for 2022. This is the Pro phone designed to beat all other Pro phones, and that reason is the price. At just $899 or equivalent, it's more affordable than most other Pro or Plus phones like from Samsung, Oppo, Xiaomi or Apple. That's despite it having specs that are just as good. We want to start by looking at the design because this camera bump at the back just screams to us, I'm great at taking pictures. Is it accurate? You'll have to wait for our camera section to find out. But we like the design of the plateau at least, with the 3 lenses and circular LED flash catching the eye. Beyond that, this is basically your standard Android flagship. One thing though, the phone isn't IP certified against solids or liquids getting in. That doesn't mean it'll break as soon as a drop of water gets on it, but we'd recommend avoid taking it swimming with you. Now onto the display, and that's one of the phone's best selling points. It's a 6.7-inch AMOLED screen with a 2K resolution, 120Hz refresh rate, max brightness of 1300 nits, and support for HDR10+ and a billion colours. The screen shows vibrant colours with impressive contrast. We liked how bright it got, as that max shine is higher than lots of other handsets go, and it meant we could easily see the screen in the sun. The 120Hz refresh rate motion looks really smooth when you're scrolling, swiping or gaming. Now onto the camera section. If you've read our written review, you'll know that this was our big sticking point with the phone. It's certainly not bad, but rival phones do beat it here. The main camera here is 48 megapixels and it's joined by a 50 megapixel ultra-wide and 8 megapixel telephoto, as well as a 32 megapixel front camera. Stick to the main camera and you'll be taking bright and colourful pictures. We've got no complaints here. The ultra-wide camera has a 150-degree lens which lets you take fisheye mode, which we basically ignored outside our tests. On the camera app, if you switch between wide, standard and zoom photos, the colour profile does change quite a bit, more than we'd like to see. That's a segue onto the third camera for zooming. It has a 3.3 times optical zoom range, which is pretty good, though the 8 megapixel sensor isn't really cutting it. The maximum zoom range is 30 times, but going beyond optical zoom results in really grainy snaps. The OnePlus 10 Pro's camera modes are good, but not great, especially because of the rough edges we pointed out, and we can't help but feel that there are better choices on the market right now. That's a sentiment that carries over to the phone's processor. It's the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 we've seen in loads of top-end phones this year already. In theory, that provides the most processing power you can get in an Android phone, but we did some benchmark tests and they actually surprised us. The scores were definitely high, but they didn't match scores we've seen from other flagships in the past 2 years. Even the OnePlus 8 Pro beat it. This was both through normal testing and when we turned on the high performance mode, which drains battery quicker. Still, most people aren't going to notice a few drop marks here and there, as it's still a super powerful phone. We enjoyed bouts of gaming and high-res video shooting without too much of an issue. It comes with 8GB or 12GB of RAM and 128 or 256GB of storage, though depending on where you live you might find not all the options are available to you. Now onto software. You're looking at Oxygen OS, a fork of Android 12 made by OnePlus, but it's almost identical to Oppo's Color OS. There are a few other neat features here, like Games Mode, which optimizes your phone for gaming, it's in the name, and also Zen Mode, which basically locks your phone for a set amount of time so you can focus. OnePlus fans might like these modes, but to us they didn't exactly change the experience in a huge way. Now onto battery life, and it's really hard to describe this with any descriptive or poetic language. It's fine, middle of the road, bang average. It's a 5000 mAh battery, which is big for a flagship. There are loads of top-end modes that drain that power. We found the phone regularly lasted for a day of use, less if we used it loads, sometimes more. It's not pleasing, but it's not disappointing, it's fine. Charging speed is definitely not fine though, as it's actively really good. Most models of the phone enjoy 80-watt charging using an inbox charger, which powers up the phone in about 30 minutes. Nice and fast, in other words. That's not the case in the US though, where you actually only get 65-watt charging, but that's still fast compared to the competition. We really like the OnePlus 10 Pro for numerous reasons, as its design, its display, some of the camera modes, and its charging speed is super fast too, but it is a bit of a mixed bag in some respects. We're looking mainly at the camera for that, but also the bang average battery life. So some people like the phone, but we can see others being put off. So you've heard all about what we thought about the OnePlus 10 Pro, what we liked, what we didn't, how much it costs, everything you need to know really. But we want to know what you think, so scroll on down to the comments section and let us know if you're considering buying the phone, if you don't care about it, what you think.